You are listening to the Novel Writing Podcast, episode 214. I'm your host, Colleen Mitchell. Grab a cup, cozy up, and let's get to writing. Today is another installment of the Publishing Myths series, and this time it's on the oft-repeated mantra that in order to be a successful author, you have to be on social media. This is advice often peddled by authors who have had tremendous success on social media, and then it gets repeated ad infinitum without question. Before we dive in, a disclaimer. Do I recommend authors have some kind of presence on social media? Yes. Even if it's just an empty profile, secure your author handles so that scammers don't. But just because you have accounts doesn't mean you're obliged to spend valuable time on those platforms. All right, let's talk. Authors who stand by using social media are more often than not considered personal brands. Their marketing depends on the audience seeing them and knowing them enough to associate their name and face with the books they write. Seth Ring goes into detail about personal versus product brands in episode 204 and 207. You do not have to run a personal brand if you don't want to. It's true social media can have a quick return on time investment, but most authors want to write, not be content creators. If you want to give social media a shot, do it, but know that you don't have to be on there to be successful. It's easy to forget that the classic books we all know, from Lord of the Rings and earlier all the way up to the Harry Potter series, did not benefit from social media. While Harry Potter has had a huge cultural impact, the final installment didn't come out until 2007, which was the same year Facebook was made available to the masses. Even if you count MySpace, which came out in 2003, there was very little real time for Rowling to rely on those platforms for her reach. It's very easy to get caught up in the vanity metrics, follower count, likes, and comments, but the truth is that vanity metrics do not translate to sales. You could have 1 million followers on your author accounts and not sell enough books to put food on your table. It's more important for an author to have a backlist than a big social following. 1 million followers and one book out will, just by the math, result in way fewer sales than 1 million followers and a strong backlist of 8 or more books. I've talked about this before, but email lists are king in marketing. You own the contact information, you're not governed by the constantly shifting algorithms, and if Meta crashes, you still have a way to contact your fans. Some people have had huge sales days when social media went down because they capitalized on people's attention going to their emails rather than the doomscroll feed. Carefully curated email lists can support full-time income far more predictably than having huge social media followings. Again, this isn't to say you can't be a personal brand and use social media to great effect. For example, authors Z.S. Diamante and E.A. Winters run very effective personal brands using social media, and they both make full-time income. But equally effective is the patient, long-game strategy of consistently and quickly producing high-quality books as a product brand. And there's the potential for name recognition no matter what you do. Brandon Sanderson will sneeze out a new book while on vacation, and his fans will pre-order secret project books without titles or descriptions because he's Brandon Sanderson, not because he has a strong social media presence. He's primarily a product brand, not reliant on social media. In the same way, I will buy every Z.S. Diamante book and every E.A. Winters book because I like them as people, having gotten to know them both through social media and in person. I like supporting them, and I like their writing. They're both primarily personal brands, and they're pretty reliant on social media. Neither is better or worse, but the fact authors can, have, and do become incredibly successful without spending untold hours of their lives creating content for the feeds means you don't have to bank on social media to build your author business. If you hate social media like I do, then don't feel like you need to appease the social media gods. It's perfectly acceptable to skip it entirely. Just make sure that whatever you do, it aligns with your goals and with your strengths. But if you're delighted by the idea of creating content promoting your books, cultivating a community, and engaging regularly with your followers, and you know how to move people from social media to your email list, or you're just good at getting people to buy from your posts, do that. Just remember, you don't have to. It's not a requirement. And as I discussed with Becca Syme in last week's episode, the only universal rule is this. If it works, keep doing it. And if it doesn't, stop doing it. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for joining me, and remember, the first draft is supposed to be garbage.
The Novel Writing Podcast is a production of Colleen Mitchell Writes. For more writing resources, including Curios, Tally Inc. author services, and the 60-day novel writing challenge, check out the links in the description.